Hello, hello, hello. How you guys doing? Welcome to my channel and thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. So today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 most anticipated dinosaurs coming to the Isle. These are my personal favorites, the ones I'm looking forward to the most. Some are coming very soon, some we have no idea when they're coming because it's the Isle. A little bit of information about each dinosaur in regards in real life as well as in Legacy, if it was in Legacy, when it came to Legacy, a little bit of information. Then I'm going to rate it out of 1 to 10, of 1 being I can wait for it, to 10 this is one of the ones that I really cannot wait for coming to the game. All of these are in the top 10 dinos I want to see, but let me know your guys' thoughts. What are your top 10 dinos? And also I have got a Discord channel, feel free to join that with the link down below in the description. But without further ado, let's get started. Let's start things off with the turkey of the Isle, the original turkey, Therizinosaurus, meaning scythed lizard, and it lived during the late Cretaceous period, and it was a herbivore. Most likely, they say. Depends what sources you read, really. An adult could have weighed up to 6 tons. That's almost as heavy as a T-Rex. And it actually lived in what is known as Mongolia today, which is a part of Asia, and it was alive around 70 million years ago. It was actually found in 1948 in the Gobi Desert, and is estimated to be 7 meters tall with claws up to 1 meter in length, which, I mean, imagine that going through you. That would be crazy. Almost every dinosaur that had to deal with that would have been terrified of it. And when it comes to Legacy, it actually came in Legacy with a patch 0.0.0.19, and yeah, it came out on December 16th, 2015, so it was one of the early ones in the first year of the Isle being available. It was pretty cool. And now we have no idea when it will come out in the Isle Evrima branch, but it is at least confirmed to arrive one day. Hopefully not when I have grandchildren though. But in Legacy, however, its claws attacks would deal great amounts of damage and it would run pretty quick. And also it has a crazy turn radius, making it one of the most feared dinos to fight. I would imagine this would be similar in Evrima when it comes out, but hopefully more balanced. And Evrima not being an ass riding simulator like Legacy is a positive for Ferry. Even though it sounds like a negative to players who did this and do this in Legacy, it will add a more dynamic way to play with Ferry, where each player would have power but still have to think about their actions, as they will probably still die easily, as they were glass cannons in Legacy, and I'd imagine it would be the same here, but with auto attacks in Evrima and other special abilities that each dino will have, and has now, will strike fear even in the Ferry's heart. I mean, auto attacks is all I have to say really, right? That was one of the big issues in Legacy. If you get ass ridden by one of these, it's crazy. I remember one time I was Allosaurus with another, what, 6, 7? One Ferry took us all out. One. I mean, we're not the most skilled players as well. On Legacy anyway, but yeah, it made me rage quit that day. I was like, no way. I just grew all these hours and one Ferry destroyed us all like that, like with ease, you know what I'm saying? It was crazy. And for Ferry, my need for this dino in game has got to be a 7. I cannot wait for it to come to the game, but I do think we need to see some other mid-tier predators and other mid-tier herbivores that come to the game first, as Ferry is probably undoubtedly still going to be pretty damn hard to fight. So maybe stuff like Allo, and Allo will be better with auto attacks and stuff, so it'll definitely be quite a good combat. That's what I hope for anyway. But anyway, next dinosaur. A titan, some might say. One of the largest land predators to have ever existed. For most of my childhood, I actually thought this dino was the biggest land predator. But the dino I'm talking about is Giganotosaurus, meaning giant southern lizard. It lived in nowadays Argentina in the Cenomanian age during the late Cretaceous period. Giga may have hunted giant sauropods such as Argentinosaurus, which is quite crazy because they're massive. It weighed around 7 tons and in length it was a cool 13 meters, being one of the largest land predators that has ever existed. I actually thought it was, but after further research it seems another is even bigger, and it's in today's video too. Giga came out on the Isle patch 2967 on December 3rd, 2016, and it's yet another dinosaur without a clear release date unfortunately. But however, Giga in Legacy has the second highest bleed resistance in the game, the top one being T-Rex, not including the hypos, which are technically the first, which would make Giga third, as they are pretty much irrelevant now in the game. Giga also has the highest bleed damage output, I believe. I didn't play it too much, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's known for, being the best bleeder in the game. And it also has a pretty damn fast walk speed, or trot some people call it. Like, I've even gonna say the amount of times I thought I was safe because I saw Giga but far away, like on the beaches on the Isle V3 map in Legacy, and then just to die to it 10-15 minutes later as I run out of stam, and whilst I'm sitting it's just walking up on me, and then I'm dead. Not to mention its one cause absolutely terrifies me, especially when it's quiet and dark and you hear it at night. It's an insane sound. That's something that I hope they bring back to Evrima, or at least modify it a bit more, as they probably will. But I just hope it's going to be as menacing to hear. Now in Evrima, I can just imagine it being a true colossal titan that will truly leave its mark in the game as being one of the most awesome looking creatures with a most likely great bleed output and resistance like in Legacy, and I'm sure it will still be a walker and not a runner, but like a turtle it will always catch up. I would rate this dino at an 8 out of 10. I cannot wait to see its terrifying presence once again. Right, Allosaurus, which is actually my favorite predator, and I think for most of this too. Allosaurus means different lizard. What a name. And lived about 155 to 145 million years ago in the late Jurassic period, and lived in Africa, Europe and North America. Definitely a traveler and has been around the block. Allo averaged 8.5 meters in length and weighed around 1.7 to 2.7 tons. Quite a big spread there, but it was a big dino. And it's believed that his jaws could open very wide actually, and this jaw came with many serrated teeth for ripping flesh of its prey, causing high damage and bleed, hence why probably in Legacy it was also like that too. It was definitely known as a bleeder. Now Allo actually came to Legacy in a patch 0.85 March 18, 2016, and it's yet another dinosaur without a rough known release date, but it's by far one of the most requested dinos after T-Rex. In Legacy it's known for its high bleed, as I said previously, regarded as the top mid-tier dinosaur, or at least within the top 3 if you count Sub-Rex. A lot of people will call that also a top mid-tier. With its amazing ambush speed and high bleed, it could take down most of the roster if it's in the right hands. Now, as mentioned previously, Allo is probably my favorite predator, so naturally I can't wait for it to come to the Evrima branch. From the concept art, it looks like its ambush speed will make a return, and its dominance for the mid-tier as well. It goes without saying that for me this is a 10 out of 10 on I cannot wait for this daddy dino to come to the game. Triceratops, meaning three-horned face. Great imagination on the name, by the way. This big guy lived in the late Cretaceous period around 68 to 66 million years ago, and believed to be another American dream living in the northwestern part of America nowadays. And Trike weighed around 4 tons. Just kidding, this is a fat one. It was 6 to 12 tons estimated at least. But what's not funny is its horns measuring up to 1 meter in length. That's long, surely compensating for something. Now Trike came to the Isle in Legacy patch 0.67 on February 16th, 2016. Some kind of good news though about this one in terms of coming to Evrima is that Trike is actually one of the next planned apexes coming to Evrima alongside Rex. Like not literally with Rex, I hope it does because it would make sense, but not much else is known at the moment about Trike. Just mainly T-Rex unfortunately as of now. But I can only predict that Trike will come late this year or early next year, since we haven't seen much. Like we've seen a lot about Rex and another dino, but not much about Trike unfortunately. But yeah, also Trike was and is played as a strong defense of a herd, and the heart of a herd too, usually there to serve and protect the weak and the young, as when many predators see it they stay clear. Trike has a stomp attack as well, dealing a lot of damage, and of course its horns will send you running. Not to mention it's a walking tank. For me, Trike was the very first apex I ever played, and its one call still something I miss, as it sent shockwaves around the area, letting people know that it's there and ready to protect if needed. And Trike is a solid 9 for me out of the scale of how much I want it. The sooner it's in, the better. Not to mention it should come out with Rex to help balance the game a little more. Quetzalcoatlus. I completely murdered that name, I'm pretty sure. So we'll just call it Quetz, because that's what most people call it too. Saves me my tongue as well. Now, it's another North American specimen from the late Cretaceous period, and it's a name that means feathered serpent or precious serpent, depending on where you look. Quetz has a wingspan of 33 to 36 feet, which is like a city bus or a small plane. Imagine that flying over your head. Lucky for us, it went extinct 66 million years ago. Quetz was in Legacy for a short time unfortunately. It came out in patch 0.9 to April 3rd, 2016. That was then removed a few months after in the patch 1.9.1885 due to some technical issues, I presume. I can't really find the exact reason. I presume it may have been a bit too OP or something like that. So there isn't much to say with how it was played, as it was there for such a short time, but I have heard from some that when you heard a Quetz coming, you'd run in the opposite direction. So for me, I would be ecstatic to see this guy come back and properly reworked, seeing it soar through the skies and casting shadows on the ground. It will also unfortunately be the only other flyer in the game, the other one being Pteranodon, which is already in the game. Now Quetz is a 7.5 out of 10, the need of having it in the game for me. Even though it would be so cool, I can happily wait, as I feel there needs to be a lot more land dinos and more mechanics worked on to allow such a beast that can fly into the game. I mean, it's massive. It just wouldn't make sense of having something like that quite so soon, right? Spinosaurus. I know I said Allo was my favorite, but Spinosaurus is a very close combatant in my head. I can never really pick if Spino or Allo is my favorite. I usually will say Allo, but Spino is just another one. I personally really like Jurassic Park 3. I know it's not liked so much, but when I was a kid, seeing Rex everywhere and then finally seeing something like Spino, which was another massive land predator, it was just amazing to see. And I was like, and it can swim too. But anyway, Spinosaurus, meaning spined reptile. Longer and heavier than T-Rex actually, weighing up to 13 to 22 tons, 46 to 59 feet, and its skull alone was almost 2 feet long itself. Spino is from North Africa and lived around 100 to 94 million years ago during the late Cretaceous, and it ruled the land and the waters as it was semi-aquatic. Spino was released in the IO Legacy patch 1.11.2919 on November 21st, 2016. Spino is a strange one though. It is in the game, but it also is not in the game. It's what's called a sandbox dino, as it was also updated when the developers decided to reskin and update the game, way before Evrima by the way, which is like the last version, which is what we all call Legacy now. This means that you can't actually play it. You have to play in certain unofficial servers where you can buy grows, not with real money, but like Discord money. When Spino or Spoon, which is what most players actually call it, see it, there's one of those oh shit moments when you see one. They have great bleed, strength, power, turn radius, and unlike the T-Rex, they can actually regen stamina by walking, just like the Giga. They seem to also be played by players that like to act like they're in the secret service, and you're not allowed to see their names, as they never talk. They just slide over to you and kill you, or just stalk you until it's time, usually also performing pincer moves and boxing you in with another Spino. But this is just my experience, which is almost 100% of my experiences with Spino. Let me know if you get the same experiences too, because they literally never talk. It's like they're just there sneaking around and bam, you're done for. But enough about Spoony Spino. For me, it's a 9 out of 10. I would rate it 10. I would like to see some more semi-aquatics in the Isle of Evrima before this guy comes out. I will probably play Spino the most out of all the Apexes once it comes out, because it's just so cool. Now, if you had Spino and Ferry making a kid together, you'd probably get Dinocheirus. Changed my mind. Or maybe a baby on steroids. With its name meaning terrible hand, with claws not as long as Ferry but thicker. It lived during the, you guessed it, late Cretaceous period. Seems like the devs really liked the late Cretaceous period. And it weighed as much as 6 tons. Now, Dinocheirus has never been in the Isle. It's actually one of the new incoming playables to the game. Now, the release date or estimate is unknown for now, unfortunately, like most, but hopefully it won't be something that is going to take too long to develop and come to the game. But I can imagine being exactly what it looks like. Slow on foot, perhaps a good speed in water, but nothing crazy. Very tough and tough to deal with. And I mean, those claws don't just look like they can slash like a fairy. They look like they will grab and crush you while slicing through you. This guy is a 10 out of 10 for me. It's different, it's semi-aquatic, huge, interesting looking, and oh, did I mention it's an omnivore? It will eat your kids too. Or probably just eggs, who knows. But yeah, this will be a much needed dino that will help control dinos, or at least deter them. And I do think it would work in the roster at the moment, simply because Dino's already in the game too. Diabloceratops, name literally meaning devil horned face. Diablo lived in nowadays Utah in the United States around 83 to 70 million years ago during the latter part of the Cretaceous period, but Mr. Diablo came to the Isle Legacy in patch 0.43 February 5th, 2016, and it's become one of the most popular dinos in the game. It's a mid-tier, mean hit, good bleed, fair enough toughness, and great turn radius. You'd play this and feel fear and show others that you should be feared. And for me, this makes the perfect playstyle, where I'm not ridiculous in strength, so I have to be careful, but I am also a weapon when needed. And Diablo, by the way, is actually my all-time favorite dino, above even Allo and Spino. Diablo is also most likely the next playable being added to the Evrima branch, or at least one of the next two, as it seems Diablo has the most work done to it, as well as the mighty T-Rex actually. It's definitely a 10 out of 10. It definitely fits in the roster right now, and I think it'll be someone that will be able to fight even Carnos, Ceratops, quite not easily, but well enough, you know? So that's why I want it in the game. Right, Ankylosaurus, meaning fused lizard, which is referring to its tough armor, weighing in around 4.8 to 8 tons and being 6 to 8 meters long, living 68 to 66 million years ago in the never mentioned time of Cretaceous period. In America, more specifically the Northwest, Anky had a weapon that most dinos could only dream of, a hard-boned club at the end of its tail. Anky came to the IO Legacy in the patch 0.90 in March 29, 2016. A lot happened in 2016, clearly. That must have been a fantastic time to be alive. Unfortunately, never had the game around then. Anky, however, is another sandbox dino that you would have to join a Discord to be able to play. Anky has also been through a lot, having bone break, then taken away, then only for it to be added again via mods, and then mods were taken away. Good Anky, bad life. But even with the little and strange experience that Anky has had, I'm sure it will be a welcomed addition to Evrima. Who wouldn't want to play it? This shy, kind of mid-sized armored lizard could potentially deter even apex predators. It's actually depicted quite a lot breaking the face of Rexes, almost as much as even Triceratops attacking T-Rexes. Anky for me scores a 6 out of 10 on the I need it now list. I really want to experience it and play it, but I can wait as I think the roster needs some more Anky type threats before it can be in the game, as I can't see Carnos doing much against it really. Alright, the last dino. And by the way, this whole list isn't my top 10 as in a row, it's just my top 10 dinos. This isn't my number 1 or number 10. I'm just putting them in order of me researching them. But yeah, Acrocanthosaurus, meaning high-spined lizard, living during the late Cretaceous period and lived in the now what is North America region. And it was actually one of the biggest land predators during its time, being around 4 to 6 tons itself and up to 11.5 meters in length and 4 meters tall. It's actually considered the 4th largest land predator that ever existed. But of course there's debates on this too, like there always is in the paleontology community. Acro arrived in the IO patch 1.9 2094 on July 27th, 2016. But currently it's yet again another sandbox dinosaur. However, it's a great dinosaur to play when you can. Amazing sprint, ambush, and insane turn radius. The only real big downfall is that it's time to heal. Acro is one awesome looking specimen. It looks busty and mean, and also its calls are amazing in the IO. Almost sounds like bells going off, I would say. And you know it's hunting time for Acro when you hear it. And the devs have always actually been great with their attention to sound with playables, even back then, so once it's out I'm sure it'll be only even better. Acro for me scores quite high, actually a surprising 9 out of 10. The more I think about Acro, in fact, the more I want it in game. I think adding Acro with some other big mid-tier herbivores would be a smart choice, but I would love to see it as soon as possible. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. And of course these are all my personal opinions mixed in with some facts as well about the dinosaurs. Have you got a top 10? Do you disagree or agree with mine? And yeah, let me know down below. I'd love to hear all of your thoughts. The IO is a great game as well as a terrible game. It has a lot of issues, you know, so probably a bit more harder times now. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video on my top 10. It was something a little bit different that I wanted to do. I wanted to kind of research the dinos a little bit more, give a little bit of information about each one, even about Legacy when they came out and came in. Apart from that, hopefully I'll see all of you on the next one. Have a great day and peace.